Welcome to the PFD Performance YouTube channel. Pretty friggin' deadly.
Rain the thunder.
All right, a bit of Death Week prep. So tonight and maybe tomorrow, gonna look at getting oil change done, swap out the tranny fluid, get some coolant in the intercooler circuit, because right now it's just water and we're already getting close to below zero temperatures here. So even if we're trailering it down, I don't need to freeze up an intercooler brick. So we'll do that. And then we're gonna tackle this fun little fuel kit. So it's the DSX CTSV auxiliary pump and CTSV flex fuel. So we'll have some instructions to read. On top of that, trying to finish fixing this exhaust rattle. We've been fighting it for a long time, and I think it's maybe making us chase some timing related, like I think it's registering it as knock here and there, making things a little goofy. So I like to finish it once and for all. I've already kind of loosened up under here. I'm gonna try and pull it apart. Might be a little hokey, but grab some header wrap. So it should take the like metal to metal out of it and give us a little bit of wiggle room and maybe help us see exactly where it's hitting. And I don't know, I'm tired of chasing this. Might end up, I don't know, if we can't get this squared away, go with some V-bands. And I guess hopefully by the time we release this, we've showed you guys what's going on with this. But to prevent the ADHD kicking in, just focus on one thing at a time. So pull the exhaust off and then start draining some fluids. So let you know how it goes. All right, day 2. Ended up getting busy last night. We got the exhaust kind of tidied up, I think. We also got the fuel pump mounted, and then today we've been running the fuel lines. Did the super scary part where we drill a hole in the fuel tank and screw in a fitting with some goo. Crossing our fingers. Now we're up under the hood and did the fun part. Disconnect the blue connector here. Pin number 5, toss in our wire, pop that in, put the tank back, but while we were doing it, we noticed a little screw was rubbing on the tank. So we got a little sacrificial piece of vinyl. Perfect, fixed. We ended up running the wire, it's kind of tricky to see here, down back here almost where we had the wideband wires. You might be able to see them up there. Anyway, the wires run down and then over to the fuel pump. But we'll button up the underhood. Got some zip tying to do. So it ties into the map sensor. Got our flex fuel sensor in. Just got to put my tank back and get her all tidied up. And once we get her up in the air again, I'll show you how things look down there. Pretty happy with how it turned out, and can kind of just show you where we strapped things up. So if you do one of these, maybe you like what we did, maybe you think we're dumb. Who knows? Anyway, we'll get to her and I'll snap some footage underneath in a bit. Okay, forget the plan about that hole that was kind of convenient. We're just gonna have to run her under here and try and zip tie it out of the way, because that hole was for that thing. So we won't be using it. But I think once we tighten things up, get her pulled out of the way here, it should work well. And then on the top side we'll get her. And then I guess while we're at it, you can see we got header wrap over there, you got the header wrap here, but I honestly think we bought a 1/4 inch of clearance with the little bit of tweaking that we were doing. So I'm really hoping she doesn't rattle again, because that would be nice. But getting close to button this up, getting the fuel system primed, checking for leaks at the flex fuel sensor, and then we'll see if I got a switch to test the auxiliary fuel system. But making good progress, nearing the end. Doing things twice is only taking a little bit longer. Okay. All right, out in the garage. It's Tuesday night. Time to do a little bit of the routine maintenance side of things. So you'll have seen we got the fuel system installed, got that all squared away. Got the controller tucked in nicely over here. Ran the wires back there. Got everything tidied up for the most part. I think one thing that might be on my to-do list is the intercooler brick lines. The way the one is run, it's making it a little tighter for the flex fuel sensor to sit and then let the engine cover on. But for now, I'm fine with it. I'll get a longer hose one of these days and essentially try and tuck it further to the firewall before it comes in. And then I might have to move the one plug there that's still strapped to the back of the supercharger, and that'll make room for it to just tuck down nicely and let the engine covers go back in as per usual. So now it's oil change. I'm gonna drain the tranny, pull the pan. I've got a new filter to swap on. Where did I put that? Gotta love ADHD brain. Here it is. Should be able to just drop the pan, pop that in. Came with a new seal. And I think I might check the diff fluid just because it's seen some things. And then this week, Jason's gonna pop in. He's coming to town for some other things, and he said he'd pop in, flash the tune, can toss some E85 in her and see how it goes. And then hopefully, maybe not this weekend, but next week or the following weekend, take it out there for a couple dyno pulls, get her tweaked, and we should be ready to rip for Death Week. We're super excited, got all the hotels booked, kind of got our heads wrapped around exactly what's going to go on. We still need to come up with our packing list and do all the packing, try and be a bit more organized. Obviously, it's a lot more driving, 2,000 miles, whereas Miles of Mayhem works out to about 1,000, so it's twice the driving, and only 4 track days in the 10 days. So we might consider, you know, maybe not bringing the tent or not bringing chairs, or being a little more choosy on what we're bringing, just to try and keep weight out of the car. But that's a future problem. So for now, we're just going to drain some fluids and see how things look. We'll show you how things are going in a bit. All right, I realized I didn't really get a good chance to show you how things went under here. So the biggest thing for the fuel system is putting that fitting in there. I feel like we got her in good. Always a little nerve-wracking drilling a hole in your fuel tank. But got the line run over. Got the T installed up there. GoPro cooperate. So that ties it into the existing factory line. And then, so this feed line goes all the way up. Our new pump and filters right here. Fitting comes out the end. We swing her around and she comes all the way back here and ties into that T that goes into the factory line. So all in all, pretty straightforward. I don't know if we really came into any hiccups. We ended up just with the way the fuel lines were. We pulled this down, got to disconnect that bolt. We popped these all out and then just pried this open just so we could get a little bit of flexibility in the lines to pull this down and make the connections. And then yeah, you can see got the header wrapped up, but way more clearance than there was before. Things still look fairly even back there. Up here, we're a little bit closer than we were before. We'll see if it still hits. And here, same kind of thing. It's still somewhat close, but I do have a feeling that that was our biggest rattle culprit back there at the diff. It just seemed to be turns and bumps. Oh, that'll get you. So yeah, it seemed to be turns and bumps that caused it the most. So crossing our fingers, we got her dealt with. But for now, engine oil, tranny pan. Forgot, gonna need to get a gasket. So add that to the purchase list, and then we should be good to go. All right, let you know if I come in any surprises. All right, oil's drained, everything looked good. Oil certainly wasn't full of gas and it didn't look too dirty or full of glitter, so that was good. Transmission fluid that came out of the drain plug looked fairly clean. I know I did a fluid swap a couple years ago. I didn't have too many kilometers on it. It's just, after beating on her, probably a good idea to swap out the filter since I had one. So right now, just letting the pan rest on my little jack. Came in super handy. Essentially what I did, undid all the bolts except for the 4 corners. Brought the jack up, used a little piece of wood, probably see it back there. Held the pan, undid the corners, gave her a little wiggle. She released, lowered her down, pulled the wood out, and now we got lots of clearance to pull this thing out. I'm about done for tonight, so I'm just gonna let this dribble, get all its drops. Gotta love ATF for how long it'll run for. Also, back here, we got the old diff plug loosened. Had to bust out my favorite Amazon purchase and heat her up. God, I love that thing. So handy. Way better than bringing out the gas, especially like, see there's all wires around in here, and to heat that up with a torch would have sucked. Just put the little coils around her, give her a little buzz, and she's good to go. So, tomorrow night I'll pull the filter off, put the pan back on. Hopefully I can find a new gasket. This one, might not be too bad. Probably just get a new gasket for the sake of it. That thing's 12 years old now. Jeez. Then I can put the pan back in and fill her with fluid, put some oil in it, do the diff fluid swap, and we should be good, I think. So that's it for tonight. We'll bring her back around hopefully tomorrow. All right, it's the next night. Tried to find a transmission pan gasket, couldn't find one. Did a bit of more reading. These gaskets are supposed to be reusable. This one looked decent enough. I just figured throw a new one on in case the compression, a little squish, had gone out of this one after 11, 12 years. So couldn't find one. Internet says it should be fine. Roll with it. Picked up some diff fluid. Fortunately, I couldn't find the AC Delco stuff that already had the additive in it, but I was able to find just their 7530 and their additive. So diff fluid, we should be good to go. Tonight, a bit of a late start just with the way things went. So I'm gonna try and just get the filter out, put the new one in, get the pan back in, and start putting fluids in, and call that good for tonight. So if anything goofy comes up, or if I notice anything that would be helpful, I'll let you know. All right, well, that was pretty straightforward. Used a pry bar to get the old one out. Just kind of folded it in and it loosened up. It's pretty soft, so came right out with a little tapping. Put the new one back in, kind of set it with a 5/16 socket, but the way the valve body is, it was a little tricky to get up in there, so the rest of it I just kind of went around with a punch, you probably saw. Got it to seat nicely, so the new one's in. But I figured I'd show you. This is about 1,000 kilometers. This fluid has been changed, but this pan was never dropped. So there's a little bit of material on the magnet, but I think all things considered, that's not so bad. I would have expected worse for this mileage. So I'll give her a little rinse, pop the magnet back in, put the gasket on, and we're ready to start putting fluids back in. So I don't think I need to time lapse you for that. I'll get after it, and I'll get back at you hopefully tomorrow with everything running, fluids topped up, and good to go. Thanks for watching.